Top 10 Sporty Naked Motorcycles of 2023. On the surface, a naked sports bike is a bit of a compromise. Lots of performance but absolutely no wind protection, which makes them tiring to ride for any length of time. However, because of that lack of bodywork, they are often described as a purer form of a sports motorcycle, with little to get in the way of the riding experience and always with a more relaxed riding position, which makes them so much more accessible. Some naked sports bikes are simply faired motorcycles with the fairing removed, which is a good idea as it gives the manufacturers two motorcycles for the development price of one. Here are the 10 best naked bikes for a wind in your hair and bugs in your teeth experience. 10. Ducati Monster, $12,695. The Monster has consistently been the biggest selling model for Ducati. The V4 Street Fighter might get all the headlines, but the Monster 1200 is simply one of the great motorcycles, at once accessible and easy to ride, with a streak of steel in its personality that gives it a real Jekyll and Hyde quality combined with real-world practicality. 147 horsepower and 91 pound-feet of torque are extremely respectable figures, and there is just so much character. It's like revisiting an old friend, at once familiar and comforting. 9. Indian FTR 1200, $12,999. 123 horsepower looks a little tame in this company, but it is all usable power, really. How many of the 170-plus horsepower offered by any of the others in this list will you ever actually use? 88 pound-feet of torque is right up there, and the 514 pound weight is perfectly acceptable. More street riding focused than the others, and, in that area, the Indian performs brilliantly, while you have the knowledge that you are riding something just a bit different. 8. Yamaha MT10, $13,999. The MT10 is a YZF or one without the clothes. That's not to say it isn't aggressively styled, it looks short and stumpy and uncompromising. Like the BMW, it is powered by an inline 4-cylinder, 998 cubic centimeters engine, but, unlike the BMW, the crossplane crank gives it the feel and sound of a V4. 165 horsepower and 82 pound-feet of torque pushing along 467 pounds of weight will always make for something exciting, while the chassis is more than capable of handling it, having been designed for much more power. The MT10 was the first production motorcycle to be fitted with Öhlins next-generation electronic semi-active suspension with 3 preset modes and 3 rider-adjustable modes. Naturally, there is also a comprehensive suite of electronics. 7. BMW S1000 R, $16,995. In line with naked sports bike thinking, the engine in the S1000R Naked has been detuned to 165 horsepower, while the torque figure sits 1 pound-foot higher at 84 pound-feet. Weight, strangely, has crept up to 452 pounds from 434 pounds for the RR, but you'll hardly notice the difference. It's in the usability that the BMW S1000R really scores, happy to potter around town in 4-cylinder smoothness with absolutely no snatch or protest, or give it everything around a track, with a riding position that won't leave you needing a session at the osteopath afterward. Typical BMW build quality and attention to detail, it might be down on power compared to most others on this list, but it is as polished a performer as you could possibly wish for. 6. Kawasaki ZH2 $18,000. The Ninja H2 set new standards for sports bikes when it appeared in 2015, even if it was more sports tourer than an out-and-out superbike. What wasn't in doubt was its astonishing, supercharged 1,000 cubic centimeters engine and the relentless shove in the back it gave the rider when the throttle was flicked open. It was logical for Kawasaki to strip off the fairing to offer another variation on the theme. Remember what we said in the intro, and the resulting ZH2 is no less bonkers than the faired version. Power and torque are similar, although the ZH2 delivers both at lower revs, 197 horsepower at 11,000 RPM and 100 pound-feet at 8,500 compared to 200 horsepower at 12,500 ROM and 98 foot-pounds at 10,500 RPM. 5. Triumph Speed Triple 1200 RS $18,500. For 2022, Triumph completely redesigned the Speed Triple, first seen in 1994, in order to keep up with the new generation of naked sports bikes, and it has worked. Now with 177.5 horsepower, 92 pound-feet of torque, and 436 pounds of weight, it remains one of the best handling sports bikes out there. Öhlins fully adjustable suspension front and back, Brembo brakes, full electronic suite, and even cruise control, coupled with class-leading comfort and a really easy-going nature, but still with a sharp bite, make this one of the best naked sports bikes you can buy. 4. Aprilia Tuono V4 Factory, $19,499. The Italians have certainly got a handle on the mad, bad and dangerous naked sport bike angle. Like Ducati, Aprilia simply stripped off the bodywork from the RS-V4 supersports bike to create a naked sports bike that many reviewers deem to be the best in the current company. Unlike the Ducati, the Tuono V4 Factory's power has been reduced to 175 horsepower, from the 217 horsepower of the RS-V4, while torque remains virtually the same. It doesn't matter, the Tuono V4 Factory still feels insanely fast and blurs the lines between out-and-out supersport bikes and naked bikes. 3. KTM 1290 Super Duke R Evo, $19,599. The KTM 1290 Super Duke R was designed from the outset as a naked sports bike and not a converted supersports bike. They call it the Beast, and it's easy to see why. 180 horsepower, 103 pound-feet of torque, 432 pounds weight. Unbridled insanity. With the limited edition Evo model, WP semi-active suspension is fitted, which attempts to contain the ferocity of the performance. For 2022, the engine and chassis are even lighter, while the tubular steel frame has vastly increased torsional rigidity for even sharper handling. There is also a lot of adjustability in the ergonomics department, so the rider can really tailor the ride to his or her liking. 2. Ducati V4 Street Fighter, $19,995. Many manufacturers alter the power characteristics of the naked versions of their supersport bikes, reducing overall horsepower and moving the torque peak lower down the rev range. Not Ducati. The arrival of the V4 Panigale was a break with tradition, but the move was logical as the V-twin was nearing the end of its development possibilities. Predictably, a naked version was not long in arriving, and the V4 Street Fighter arrived with a frankly bonkers 208 horsepower and 90 pound-feet of torque. With an all-in weight of 392 pounds, this was the most violent naked sports bike you could buy, with a top speed, if you could hang on, of 180 miles per hour. 1. MV Augusta Brutal, $26,600. This bike is brutal by name, brutal by nature, and brutal in appearance. MV Augustas used to be models of Italian artistry, but today they look like transformers, which is no bad thing. Like the Ducati V4 Street Fighter, the power output is 208 rasping, snarling horsepower, with 86 pound-feet of torque available. With those figures, the MV Agusta is on par with the Ducati, even if the looks might not be. It's a true naked bike in that every mechanical and other component is visible. It's at once visually startling and aggressive, which matches the riding experience. Bring your A game.
I hope to inspire you and help you learn more about your favorite theme. Subscribe to my channel and let me know what you think.